folks. This is Manic Mark, your real fake outsider artist, coming to you from the bunker system, located underneath the Art Villa, found somewhere in the jungles of the Midwest. And today I come back to you with a tale of the secret mission that I went on. Yes, indeed. Occasionally I actually work for a living. I realize it's so much more cool to be unemployed, and God knows I'm better at being unemployed than actually working for a living. But there are people out there that actually take pity on me, and I love them for it. Their generosity. But there's one thing I do occasionally that's a lot of fun for me, even though as I get older it's harder. Let's cut that out. Cut all that out. That would be woe and misery. We don't want any of that woe and misery. This is a great job, and what is it? Well, occasionally I build up, they call them build-ups, I build up exhibits, the traveling exhibits. I work on a crew that does that, and some of the exhibits I've worked on, well, the first one I worked on was an exhibit that came over from Russia. It was Nicholas and Alexander, the last Tsar of Russia, and it was artifacts salvaged from their reign, including Fabergé egg, and it was pretty cool. And that was like a hometown thing, and I got to help build sets for it. Rudimentary carpentry skills required, and I got to handle some artifacts. That was pretty cool. I got to place the Tsar's breakfast china, and got to handle with a curator a rug that was in the youngsters' room. Got to position that, and of course I get to see, you know, all the artifacts in gallery light, or the exhibition, not in the exhibition light, which is always low, but in actual, you know, lighting, brighter lighting, which is really cool to be able to, you know, see these things. And then I worked on the Titanic exhibit, and that was a really hard job. I don't even. It's just the last day I worked from 8 in the morning until 2:30 at night. It was just, you know, like 10 days in a row of like 12, 16-hour days, and the last day, whatever that was, I lost count. But what was cool about it, well, all the people that work on these things are like crazy people. So I get along with it really well. Many of them are artists. It's just a lot of fun to be around artists, to get out of the bunker system and be around another artist. But I got the handle, man. Like, I got to install the porthole from the Titanic, you know. Of course, it's very heavy, so it just wasn't me. There were 2 lifts involved, and a couple of ladders, and a bunch of people. And we hung the thing on the wall, okay? And then I got to work in the installation of the actual whistle. So, man, I got to handle the whistles. I got to be right next to them. It was really really amazing to get to see this stuff close up. And you know, there's a number of these Titanic exhibits running around, so I can only vouch for the one I worked on, but it was the one with the iceberg. They have a refrigeration unit that actually covers a large sheet of steel, cools it down enough so that the moisture in the room will condensate on it, and you get to touch it. It's a tactile experience. And so that's the one I got to work on, and I must say that the design is really cool. If you get a chance to go see it, because it's one of the few of the exhibits that's, after working on, actually I worked, was so crazy, the job was so crazy, I didn't even get to see all the artifacts I was working. I had to come back and go through the thing. I think it's worth going through because it's a great experience. And then I worked on doing the Pirates install, a show called Pirates, and basically it's a salvaged pirate ship. Maybe I think it's the only one that's ever been found. So, like, man, I got to handle cannons, you know. There were a bunch of cannons from the ship, lots of cannons, and there were some interesting artifacts. And it's curious, there's like a silk sock from a kid, I think, that was on board, and I don't even remember how that was salvaged. For some reason, some things are attacked by bacteria and some things aren't, and we had a concretion, which was like a giant, this stuff gathers around the artifacts in the ocean and becomes like a rock. They call it concretion. We had one of those in a tank. It took 6 weeks to put that in. That was like the first time it had gone in, and I got to do welding and carpentry and all sorts of stuff, and that was a lot of fun. And they're smaller shows, but to get to the point, because I'm blah 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 like I normally do, and you've probably already gone off and done something else. But this week I put in an exhibit that's based on archaeology, and they used Egypt as the vehicle to, you know, sell how archaeology is done. It's kind of geared towards the youngsters, but it's fun to put in. I get to go back for a day and actually help with install artifacts. So here we go. What I'm going to do is like this quick silly walkthrough. And I haven't edited it, so I have no idea what the hell I'm going to do. But in the middle, I'm going to like stick in one of our coffee breaks with the crew. And the crew consists of a ceramicist, 2 sculptors, a farmer, and a friend of mine who he's basically unemployable like myself, for, you know, except for short instances like this where we can like just tolerate the world long enough, get a paycheck and make people happy and go do something else without like breaking down or going crazy. Okay, so here we are, and before we get into this end of it, I'm just going to say I hope you're no more afraid now than when you click the clicky thing.